Hello guys, welcome to the Sports Lounge on Elegbete TV. My name is Bamiji and I'm your host, and today was the final day of the Premier League season. And as you can see, Ayo, he might be cruising in his car, but Arsenal did not cruise to the Champions League. It was Manchester United and Chelsea.
That was never. Anyway, it was never in doubt. We weren't going anywhere.
I'm delighted as much as our basketball fans on this platform to see you back today. Ayo, how are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me. The NBA is back. Woo! Man, can't wait for action to get underway properly.
I can tell. We'll be coming back to you for more. Please put an eye on the road so you don't crash out of the Champions League like Arsenal did. Edafe, the in-that keeper will say of analysis. How are you doing, Edafe?
We're good. I'm fine. Good evening. Good to be back on your show. And you're looking good.
You are also looking good. You know that. I told you that already.
Thank you, sir.
You look like somebody preparing. You look like somebody preparing to watch the FA Cup final confidently next week.
Oh yeah. I'm hoping that Chelsea will be nice. It's just that last week, Precious got me angry by saying he will score 4 goals. But I hope that Chelsea and Olivier Giroud. My greatest fear is Olivier Giroud. He seems to be very, very angry with Arsenal and he wants to do us something. But I hope that Chelsea will be nice to allow us to win it so that we'll play European competition next season and then let's see. But another part of me wants us not to win it also, so that the owners can spend good money, because qualifying for Europa again will make us feel like, we're Arsenal, we are in Europe. All we just need to do is to tie up Aubameyang to a new contract and this squad is good. I don't want that feeling. So one half of me, as a fan who loves Arsenal, wants us to qualify for Europa, even though it's a Thursday night competition. But then another half of me thinks that if we don't qualify, it's better for the club on the long run.
I agree with you. That is very, very correct. You know, there's a time where you have to make a conscious change, where you have to change the dynamics. We can't keep hoping that these low quality, in quotes, players we have and players who we didn't pay too much will go beyond their abilities to get us what we want. No. Other teams are spending money. Arsenal has to do the same. There's no two ways about it.
So Arsenal is not even a Europa team. So let's just get knocked out of it and then fight our way back to deservedly qualify for Champions League.
Yeah, actually, Arsenal is the only team out of the regular top 4 that don't make it in the Champions League. We hope to see you guys push more next season so that the actual top 4. But that would mean Man City dropping out.
My friend, go to Precious before you talk. Because Leicester refused to win today. What's all this talk, man?
You don't
Because Leicester refused to win, Abi.
How you doing? I'm a professor. How you doing? Professor? Champions League football. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy that Chelsea will be in the Champions League next season. Yeah, I think talking about Arsenal, I think Chelsea actually owe Arsenal some money. Yeah, Arsenal deserve to sue Chelsea for the £15 million they paid for Olivier Giroud. I think that was, looking at it now on hindsight, it was daylight robbery. True, Giroud literally had to drag Chelsea over the line for Champions League. I can imagine if the
kind of won them Europa last season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he has more than. I was one of those who wasn't so excited about the signing of Olivier Giroud because Chelsea had the chance to sign Aubameyang at the time as well. They were in for him. But then they opted to sign Olivier Giroud. We paved the way for us now to sign Aubameyang himself. But then, looking at it, I think it has been fantastic business for Chelsea. He's come in at the crunch time and delivered. This team needed maturity. They needed leaders. And then I think he stood up to be counted for the team. And then talking about Arsenal qualifying for Europe or not, I think, like Edafe said, they will be better off not playing in any European competition. I don't think this current Arsenal squad is deep enough to handle the rigors of the European competition as well as pushing deliberately for a top 4 spot in the Premier League. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm not seeing too many differences in terms of the policy that would allow us now really spend. They're still the same guy is still in charge of the affairs. So I don't see too much going to change really, except if maybe just maybe the big American will have a change of heart this time and then not be so conservative with money.
That's the more reason why something drastic needs to happen. Because first off, I'm not blaming Stan Kroenke. I mean, I'm a businessman. I could 5-6 years ago I would blame Stan Kroenke and do all that. See, I'm a CEO right now, and what I've noticed is, at every time that I do anything, I prioritize. My family don't get the kind of comfort they used to have, the kind of things that shopping we need to do because I need to run the company. So I'm liking that to the Kroenke's position. Kroenke have 7 franchises: ice hockey, NFL, basketball, soccer, women's sports. 7 franchises that is handling. There is no sane person that would. He's an American. So first, the American interest will give him more pride and more comfort. Arsenal to him is a business that produces money. It's like using your money to earn more money. Arsenal to him is a side hustle. Now go back to all the other teams that have, yes, Arsenal is a side hustle, it's a side chick. Arsenal is not a main focus for him. It's the Rams. The main business for him is the Rams. And you look at the way he put money on that NFL team, you know that that's the team. That's the team. He signs players with big money. So it's not as if Stan Kroenke doesn't have the money. He's got the money. I mean, that man is over the line of $3 billion. So he's got the money. But he's an American. The American pride, the Eagles' pride will always make him focus on the American business interest. And then the Premiership is a money-spinning machine for him. So it just takes from there to sustain his lifestyle while his investment goes into those American business. One of the things that would not threaten him is they're not playing in Europa, they're not playing in Champions League, they are struggling in the league, and then there's miles between them and the rest of the pack. He would not decide, you know what, let me do one desperate measure of investment. This season, hold up cash from the Rams, the Stanley Cup, the ice hockey team, and all of them, and say, put 200 million pounds into Arsenal. Let's see what will happen. Because, to be very honest, the guys running the club, all the guys at the board, there are people who know football. These are people who could really make it happen if it is required for them to take this money and go and spend. I just feel bad when they signed Pepe anyway. I don't know who decided that. But if they needed to sign, I think they would do well. One of the signs is Aubameyang. Aubameyang have been in a position to win highest goal scorer back-to-back. He just lost it today. So you look at that, it's not as if they can't sign those players. But when the money is not guaranteed, and most of the clubs, not every club will tell you, oh, pay the money over 5 years. Some club will tell us, give me the cash, or pay 2 times or 3 times. And Arsenal doesn't do that, so it becomes a problem. So if you have a 200 million, all this Timo Werner will play for Arsenal.
Well, I'm glad how the direction of the show has gone into, because we're going to start on Arsenal Watford. But since it's talking a little bit about Arsenal and Aubameyang, who was brilliant in that game, keep showing that he's a goal scoring machine, and Arsenal needs to do everything possible to drop any amount in it so that he stays with them. But Precious, what about the decision to sack Nigel Pearson 2 games to the end of the season? How did you see that decision from Watford?
Yeah, for me, I think it was a wrong decision. But then I think reading up a few things, he had already been told that he was not going to be their manager next season, regardless of the final league position at the end of the day. By the time they sacked him, they were still in mathematically with a chance of staying up in the Premier League. And apparently he had a bust up with the owner of the club. And then, of course, not everybody will take that. So he just had to go. It didn't sit well. It was a decision that didn't sit well with the fans of the club, going by the kind of support that Pearson received on social media. Yeah, but then I hope Watford is not going to be one of those clubs like Bolton that went on the first relegation to the Championship and then they went into oblivion, because to be honest, getting back from the Championship is a very, very difficult thing in itself. The Championship not easy. It's not, yeah. And then if you look at the ramifications, you don't know if you don't know about the future of Troy Deeney. You're going to have players going on pay cut as well. Them on the same salary they were earning in the Premier League. It's a whole new world entirely, a whole new set of adjustments to be made. But I think on the long run, I hope for their sake that they come back as soon as possible. But it's looking like a very, very the kind of decision that you would regret because you had a rush of blood to your head in one crazy moment.
Thank you, Precious. Ayo, let me come to you. It's not about basketball, it's still on football. So, because anytime teams get relegated, there's usually that one player that everybody keeps saying that.
Bamiji, your line is breaking seriously. Can you please adjust a bit? I'm practically struggling to hear you. Okay?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're trying.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, Ayo, as I was saying, I said normally when teams get relegated, there's at least one player that everybody says doesn't deserve to go down with the relegated teams. Now, not which Bournemouth and Watford have gone down. So if you were to mention 3 players that Premier League team should be looking at to snap up, who would they be? For each team.
Well, I'm going to look at it from a Watford perspective, mainly. And Abdoulaye Doucouré is one man I don't think deserves to go down with Watford, to be very fair to him. It was last season he played so well. He started well this season, but at some point, he dropped off. Anybody who plays fantasy Premier League will understand that he's one of those cheap guys that can earn you quick points. You understand? So I don't think he deserves to go down with Watford. I'm looking at Troy Deeney, but I'm asking myself, I know Troy Deeney was there when they were down, and he played in that incredible playoff final a few years ago that brought them back up. But I'm looking at him, and I'm asking myself, what role did he play this season to try to make Watford not get relegated? And I can't really say that he played. I know he was injured, yeah, but coming back from injury, it was difficult for him to settle. Same goes for Danny Welbeck. But the fact that these guys have shown some level of consistency, when they are at their best, they play really well. You want to think that there are some mid-table level clubs or clubs that will be coming in from the championship who might look at these guys and say, you know what, let's cash in on 1 or 2 of these guys and give them an opportunity and see how they can help us grow based on the experience they've garnered in the Premier League. But for the most part, a lot of these guys, they are the ones who played. They are the ones who prosecuted the Premier League and ultimately went down. So if at the end of the day they all go down with the team, I mean, is what it is. I won't feel bad for any of them. But Doucouré is my man for Watford. I don't think he deserves to go down.
Okay. Edafe, give me what the one you want from Bournemouth and from Norwich. One player each.
Okay, for me, even at Watford, I think I'll go with Doucouré, but I still think that Ben Foster should get a club in the Premier League.
How about the fool?
And then Ismail Assar.
Ismail Assar.
Ismail Assar. I think Ismail Assar should also be in the Premiership. Now, having said that, let me go to the Bournemouth team, and I think that Bournemouth were their own worst enemy anyway. They got carried away at some point. Everybody was praising them, and then they got carried away. They forgot that the Premiership was a wrong one. But then there is a player called Dan Gosling in the team that I think, in my opinion, worked his socks off and should get a club, maybe get to play for a team like Aston Villa, become a squad member. But key player in this team is Joshua King. I don't think Joshua King should go down. And then Callum Wilson. Yeah, I know that Callum Wilson didn't score as much as people expected from him, but Joshua King and Callum Wilson are 2 players that I felt that at some point, the defense let them down. Like the defense was just being too easy to concede goals. This type of team is a team that should be winning games by 1-0. They are not going to score plenty of goals. But then the defense was just busy conceding goals as they like. Now, it's going to be difficult for me to pick anybody from Norwich. Maybe Tim Krul, but it's going to be very difficult. When we started the season, if you remember our first show on the season, the team that I nominated to go down were Norwich City. And then maybe 4 weeks after, everybody was shouting Timo Pukki, Timo Pukki, Timo Pukki. And I said that Timo Pukki reminds me of a certain bench in Charlton Athletic. He's going to score a lot of goals, but that defense I have, Jamal Lewis, Ben Godfrey, Zimmerman, his name is longer than his ability, Max Aaron and the rest, they were going to let him down. And that's exactly what happened. So for Norwich City, maybe I'll just pity Tim Krul and pick him, but I don't think that there's anybody in that team that shouldn't go down. They deserve to go down. That's why they've been relegated since. So not really, I don't have pity for them. One player that I don't think should go down is Callum Wilson and then Josh King.
Thank you very much, Edafe. Precious. Edafe said Callum Wilson is for a lot of goals, but a lot of his English teammates, at least 3 of them, reached the 20-goal mark or more. It was a good season for English players, wasn't it?
Yes, I think it was a very, very good season for the English players. It was a season of revelation for Danny Ings, for example.
Yeah.
After a not so good outing at Liverpool, coming to modest Southampton, and he even did so well against the big clubs. He stood up to the occasion when it counted. He was scoring different kind of goals. Yeah, so I think it was a good season for the English guys. Obviously, Jamie Vardy is the standout guy. At the age of 33, he becomes the oldest player to win the Golden Boot in the Premier League. Yeah, so I'm happy for him. I'm trying to imagine what life for Leicester City would be like without Jamie Vardy. Yeah.
Don't go down.
So now you look at Vardy, you have Ings among the top scorers. Let's not also forget Raheem Sterling, you look at Rashford, and you should also remember Tammy Abraham is somewhere in the mix as well. For a player who has just had his Chelsea fans they criticized him a lot, but then forgetting that he contributed a whole lot to the final finish on the table. Yeah, so I think overall it's been a good one for them.
15 goals and 3 assists. Fantastic for Tammy Abraham. First season.
That's excellent. Yes, first season as a Chelsea player, it's excellent. Yeah.
Just one. If you think that it's just one goal behind Sergio Aguero, you give him credit.
Yeah, you can imagine. Yeah, and this without playing any penalty kicks. It means a lot.
Now we brought that in. Talking about penalty, Manchester United broke the record.
I was actually going to bring that perspective but let's go on football. When we get back, we'll be talking about that issue. We'll be talking about Kevin De Bruyne's equaling Thierry record. But now it's time for basketball. Your basketball fans have missed you, Ayo. They keep asking where is Ayotunde. So please show them why they miss you.
The basketball bishop. His mic is muted.
I am excited. Sorry about that. The movement. I'm excited with the millions of basketball lovers in Nigeria. Allow me to say millions because I believe we are in our millions, right? And across the world. I mean, we're all excited that finally the NBA is back. We've been able to see some scrimmages. Each team is playing 3 scrimmages before the bubble officially resumes for 8 regular season games each, meaning each team at the bubble, each of the 22 teams are playing 8 regular season games. And the idea for that is to be able to get the overall seedings before the playoff starts. And that will be starting on Thursday. And I was going to ask myself that will it be basketball business as usual when the bubble starts? And so far, the fact that there are no fans in the arena, the fact that everything kind of looks like a training, to be honest, seeing these teams ball out. The only difference is they have different jerseys and you can identify a lot of the players in the different teams they play for. So that feel of having fans, the noise and all of that is not there. At some point, they tried to do some crowd simulation from NBA 2K. Those of us who play video games, we know that it just didn't quite It didn't feel like it. But at the end of the fact that we're able to sit in front of our televisions and watch, like I've been watching basketball every day since the bubble began. Not just in the NBA, the WNBA also tipped off yesterday, had an opportunity to see some of the best, finest women basketball players in the world go to action. Some we've not seen in a long time because of injury. Ladies like Brianna Stewart, the MVP from 2 years ago, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner, the #1 overall pick for the New York Liberty, Sabrina Ionescu, who was given a rude welcome to the league yesterday by the legends in the Seattle Storm. It's just exciting, and we are looking forward to what should be an exciting, few weeks of action in the NBA. And, there's a number of players who pulled out. But after seeing what the bubble looks like, to be honest, I really don't think we'll be missing anybody who did not come. Because the greatest players whose teams are in contention are all still there. LeBron James is there. Anthony Davis is there. Kawhi Leonard, who people have criticized for doing the so-called load management, he is there in full force with his partner in crime, Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, by the way, has been balling out like a man possessed. I don't know what he's up to, but that guy can play. I am loving Russell. I was never a fan of him, but my goodness, I love the way that guy is playing. I was never really a fan of Russell Westbrook because I thought he used to try to force the issue. He's not a jump shooter. He will be settling for threes, missing a lot of them. But now Russell Westbrook doesn't care who's in front of him.
Russell Westbrook reminds me of Allen Iverson. Even though it looks different, but it does reminds me of the hustle that Allen Iverson brings in. Yeah, Allen Iverson is the Chris Brown of the NBA in his era. But then there is a certain kind of hustle that Westbrook brings in. He's not as matured as Dwayne Wade. He's not a showstopper like LeBron James. He's not the experience of Kevin Durant. Neither does he have the work ethics and maturity or the wine life chef of the Black Mamba. Talking about the late Kobe Bryant. But he's just that guy that you take your eyes off him and you pay for it.
Absolutely, and in terms of the way he plays, now he knows his.
Let me add to what Edafe has asked. Okay. Do you think Westbrook is playing up to his full potential right now, or this is the best that he can produce?
Okay, so here's the thing: Westbrook is a point guard, and the question you ask is, who really is a point guard? And some people will tell you, the responsibility of a point guard is to be a floor general, control everything that happens on your team. Does Westbrook do that? Oh, incredibly well. One of the best in the business, in fact. And they say point guards are excellent passers. Does Westbrook do that? He's been averaging triple-doubles for how many seasons in a row now? So he's an excellent passer. Then they say point guards shoot the basketball very well. That may be his only weakness. His jump shot is not the best. When you talk about fearlessness in a player, Westbrook doesn't care if there are 3 7-footers in the rim. He's taking the ball right to the teeth of the D. You're going to have to foul him to stop him. And that's why I said I'm beginning to appreciate him. Russell Westbrook has lived up to the hype. Let's not deceive ourselves. He's an all-star. He's a superstar. He's going to go down as one of the finest point guards to ever live. We can criticize him all we want, but man, Russell Westbrook is still an incredible guy. Another team that's exciting me in the bubble will be the Denver Nuggets. Now, Nikola Jokic, in my opinion, is the best passing big man the NBA has ever seen. Now, he went during the lockdown, during the COVID whatever, and he lost, people say he lost about 50 pounds. I don't know how true that is, but he looks a bit skinny. So he's moving quicker. And something the Denver Nuggets did, which I'm surprised about, is the fact that in their first scrimmage, they started 3 7-footers. I have never seen that before in a game in my life. In fact, in documentaries I've watched, I've never seen where 3 7-footers are on the floor at the same time. Why? Nikola Jokic, who is the center, started at point guard because he's an excellent passer. He shoots the ball as good as anybody we have seen in the game. He rebounds the ball. He's got skills for a 7-footer. Bol, son of one of Africa's weirdest exports to the NBA, Manute Bol of blessed memory. Bol is over 7 feet. He was drafted last year. His stock went so low because he suffered a lot of injuries playing in college. But he finally got an opportunity to play an NBA game. He started at small forward, and my goodness, in the 2 games Bol has played, I am sitting back and I'm like, the NBA is in trouble if this boy stays healthy. Remember Joel Embiid? We didn't know what to expect because of injuries. The moment he started to play, boom, he started to dominate straight away. That exactly is what Bol is doing. He's dribbling the basketball so well at 7 feet. His shot from 3 points, you probably think he's a James Harden out there shooting the 3 ball. He rebounds the ball, pushes his up court. People are asking, pass the ball. No. 3-point line, he pulls up, bang, he nails it. I'm like, wow, if this guy continues like this, we are in trouble. There's another guy, Michael Porter Jr., right there. Another guy who suffered injuries. And these guys are all 7 feet tall. And you're like, whoo. If the Denver Nuggets get it all together, on defense, they'll be unstoppable because there's a lot of length. When 3 7-footers stretch their hands out, the question is, how do you want to penetrate them? It becomes a problem. So there are so many exciting teams with so many incredible players, the best players in the world. Like I said, they are still there. And we can't just wait for the season to officially restart on Thursday.
Nice one. It just feels like you shouldn't stop.
I know.
Let me give him a chance to keep going. What are the games to immediately look out for?
Okay. Well, there are 2 games on Thursday. And somehow they skipped my head. But I know the Lakers and the Clippers are playing on Thursday. I beg you, if you're a basketball lover, you don't want to miss that game. They've played 3 times already this season. The Clippers have won 2, and the Lakers have won 1. And that one the Lakers won was a back-to-back where they faced the Milwaukee Bucks and the Clippers. And people were saying, these are 2 games LeBron James has to show that he's still the king. And LeBron took the challenge like a grown man he is. He dominated Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. He dominated Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and the Clippers. And we're wondering what exactly is going to happen this time. Now, it's going to be the first game of the 8 regular season games they are going to play. And so the question is, what kind of impact, what kind of game are we thinking LeBron will play? They hold a huge advantage in the West. There are 3 games, and so 3 games above the Clippers, who are second in the Western Conference. So if everything goes on well,
sorry to cut you. Yeah, to cut you short, but you said some people say LeBron still has some things to prove. What do you think? Do you think he still has anything to prove?
No. Now, saying he has something to prove is not about questioning his greatness. No, he's one of the all-time greatest players. A lot of people actually think he's the greatest player ever. But having anything to prove means since you left Cleveland and you played against the Warriors, now you are in a Lakers team that has another superstar who is Anthony Davis, who some people actually argue is the one who is carrying the Lakers more than LeBron James. Some people have that argument. But they say now you have to play against these excellent players. The biggest threat to the Lakers winning the Western Conference will be the Los Angeles Clippers. They played first on Christmas Day. The Clippers dealt with them. They played again on Martin Luther King Day. The Clippers dealt with them. And then it was that 3rd time, people were like, look, Kawhi cannot be handling. The funny thing was, the first time they played, there was no Paul George. Paul George was injured. So it was Kawhi by himself who destroyed LeBron and Anthony Davis. The second time, the Clippers still had injuries. They still beat the Lakers. And so now they said the Clippers are having full guys. LeBron, you have to go out there and play. And it was against the Bucks, Giannis and the Bucks. And then I remember it was Friday night, Giannis and the Bucks. And then Sunday afternoon, Kawhi, Paul George, and the Clippers. And LeBron bought. You would think it was a 28-year-old LeBron that played. He was shooting the ball so well, distributing the ball so well. And LeBron, he would like to get his teammates involved. In those games, it looked like he told his coach, Frank Vogel, and the other guys, this is my time. Let me remind these guys who the boss is, right? And he absolutely torched them. So I'm looking forward to something like that. LeBron is someone I respect so much. I don't think people give him enough credit, to be honest. Michael Jordan is still the greatest of all time. But with everything LeBron James has done, remove his achievements. Just look at him as a basketball player and ask yourself, how many players in the history of the game can you actually say as complete as LeBron? There's nothing he cannot do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ayo. We missed you. It's very evident.
We are less than 8
even though the football season has gradually found out, we'll still be getting updates from you on basketball. So now let's jump back to football and two men who will be feeling 7 foot tall after this season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Frank Lampard after the first full season make the Champions League. I'm going to come at first with Manchester United. Let me start with you on Chelsea. Just how well again has Lampard done this season?
Well, I'm going to give Lampard a lot of credit. People don't see that credit, but I'm going to give Lampard a lot of credit. First off, he's a young manager, and I've said this over and over again. I'm beginning to sound like a broken record now, but I've said it in plenty of forums. I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I don't have to be a Chelsea fan to give credit to whom it is due. Under the Roman Abramovich era, this is the first time that Chelsea was having a manager who didn't have money to spend or who was playing under a ban. This is the first time under the Roman Abramovich era that Chelsea was playing in the Premiership, playing it an entire season without a spine. By a spine, I mean they've always depended on the leadership and goal productivity of Didier Drogba, and then his support cast up front. And then the midfield, they had Frank Lampard. At one time, you had Ballack. At another time, you had Michael Essien. Makalele played in that midfield as well, and the other guys. And then at the back, a very solid base of the pyramid where you have John Terry, Cavallo, and whoever was with him. And then Peter Cech at his best. That spine cut from top to bottom. It was like the anointing that was flowing from the head of Aaron to the beards and to the skirts. It was perfect.
Preach.
It could part the Red Sea. It could heal the blind. It could unstop deaf ears. It could walk on top of water and stop it.
Right now, it's the Exodus.
But in this case, Lampard came in like the sons of Sceva, pretending to perform miracles that he didn't have the anointing to perform. But fortunately, demons responded to him. It's a Sunday, so I feel like preaching. Unfortunately,
yes, sir.
Unfortunately for him, demons responded to him. He made Tammy Abraham. Look at the Roman Reigns. The era of Roman Abramovich. Tammy Abraham will not make the bench under Jose Mourinho, under Luis Scolari, under Ancelotti, under AVB, under Rafael Benitez. Neither would Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham, Tomori, Kotzuma, all of those guys. And then the worst keeper in the Roman era is Zappa. Zappa reminds me of the guy that Kanwako scored a hat-trick against. But he's able to manage them and put them in the FA Cup finals, get them to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and also get them to qualify for the Champions League next season. And he's done that by properly rotating his team. At the beginning of the season, he went for youth, used all the young players, bonded their energy, and in the restart, he brought in Olivier Giroud, who scored 8 goals in 9, if I'm not mistaken, 8 goals in 10, and did it well. So, man management, excellent. Team management, excellent. Organization, excellent. Tactics might fail him, but the reason why tactics failed him was because he didn't have a team that had enough quality to pick and drop and rotate perfectly. So for me, I'll rate him, out of 10, I'll rate him 8.5.
Thank you, Edafe. But before the Holy Spirit enters my body, Precious, can you quickly just give us Ole's rating as he has given us for Lampard? There's a talk that United have been favored with penalties. What's your take on that? Does that aid Ole season, or should it just be given? Because I know the target was to get in the Champions League. That was the target for Ole.
I mean, this season, you can say so much about the penalties. 14 penalty kicks is a record, yeah. But then if you would also agree with me that they didn't block those penalty kicks from the air.
Exactly.
You had to walk the ball into the position where an opposing player will foul you for a penalty kick to be awarded. I think the most ridiculous of them has to be the one against Aston Villa, where I feel Bruno could have on another day been sent off. Yeah, but then apart from that, there's not so many questions you can ask about the other penalty kicks. I think one thing that has happened this season for United is that Ole has overseen a change in style of play. Since Bruno Fernandes and Pogba started playing together, they have transitioned into more of a possession-based team than a reactive counter-attacking team, which they were before the return of Pogba. I think this was facilitated by the extended season due to the lockdown. Yeah, so I think this in itself, this change of style in itself, is a possible problem for Manchester United next season. Why do I say so? United have one of the slowest center backs, one of the most rigid center backs in Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is very good when you are sitting deep and when you are playing in a low block, playing counter-attacking. But if you are going to be the proactive team, playing with a high line, playing possession-based football, even as good as a passer of the ball as he is, you are going to get caught out because of his lack of pace. So will he go back to his shell next season and play counter-attacking football? Or will he dip into the transfer market and sign a speed demon to balance the play at the back to cover up for Harry Maguire's lack of pace? That's one question that needs to be answered. But overall, I think it's been a good season for Manchester United, finishing in third position when they were 14, I think about 10 to 14 points behind Leicester City before the lockdown. Yeah, that's some massive recovery. So I'm going to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 8.5 as well. I put him, I think the only thing Lampard has got on him this season is if Lampard wins the FA Cup against Arsenal.
Whoa.
Thank you very much, Precious. Time always flies when the phone is at the speed. But I'm going to end with Ayo because I love your voice, Ayo. So I'll end with you, Ayo. Edafe, thank you so much for the analysis, for the teaching as well. Like I said, I got a little bit of the Holy Ghost. Thank you so much. And I hope the Holy Ghost will follow you in your final next weekend. So thank you very much, guys. Ayo is going to end us. We have to shout out to Kevin De Bruyne. He's an amazing player. I mean, he's got
he's my player of the season.
Goals and assists. But where do you rank him in world football totally? I mean, we know Messi, Ronaldo at the top two, but where do you rank Kevin De Bruyne totally quickly?
I mean, I'm just asking myself now, who are the other midfielders we can actually compare him with? Is it safe to say he's the best midfielder in the world today? I think it's safe to say Kevin De Bruyne. He's too comfortable on the ball. Right. He's too confident. Right. Yeah. So I feel Kevin De Bruyne is easily the best midfielder in the world today. We'd have to wait till next season to see someone who can probably surpass what he's done this season.
Yep, I agree with you.
Thank you very much, Kyle.
Thank you, guys. We've done it again. Let's do it again next week. Whenever I lose the FA Cup to Chelsea or wins it.